Wow. Yes, believe me, I do realize I'm not the first person to post on this. But let's get right into it. The Eagles made a pretty surprising move today. Fourth round pick to the Dolphins for Jay Ajayi. Um, what? Yes, obviously, this happened at about 8:30 this morning, something like that. I could not have commented on this live because I was going in to write an exam. I finished my exam, and while I was still in the exam room, I found out. Now, for those of you who don't know, I'm actually a big time Philadelphia Eagles fan. This season has been more than surprising to me, considering I kind of expected the Eagles to be a 7 or 8 win ball, somewhere between 7 and 9 wins on the season, and through half the season, we're 7-1. Um, and the biggest weakness on the team was running back. LeGarrette Blount's been inconsistent. Darren Sproles is hurt. Wendell Smallwood cannot stay healthy. Donnell Pumphrey is basically a healthy scratch most of the time. And Corey Clement is just another guy. So being able to get a potential bell cow running back for just a fourth rounder is kind of surprising. Why did this happen? It's been reported Adam Gase was furious with the way the offense is played, and reasonably so. Obviously, forgive me if I'm wrong on this. I haven't had much of a chance to watch the NFL due to a busy work schedule and everything. But last I checked, the Dolphins were the worst offense in the NFL statistically. No matter how much they invested in that offensive line, it's still been bad. Juwan James is a guy. Laramie Tunsil looks like he doesn't know what he's doing out there, apparently. He's got a ton of false starts, not really adjusting well to the NFL. Can't really get much of a push, which meant that Ajayi was just not going to gel. And this is surprising considering he was one of the top 5 rushers in the league last year. Wasn't he top 3 even? Had 200-yard games. He was actually playing rather well last year, but for whatever reason this year it's just not worked out. The Eagles don't have a great offensive line, especially now that Jason Peters, not Jeremy Peters, I don't know what the fuck that was. Almost did it again. Jason Peters is out for the season, which means that Lane Johnson and Halapuli Vaitai are your offensive tackles, and there's not really a lot of depth, which means the Eagles probably should go out and get some offensive line depth as well. But definitely they've been able to clear some paths for LeGarrette Blount, who has, like I said, played very inconsistently. But holy crap, for a team that really wants to make sure that Wentz is protected by not having to throw the ball 40, 50 times a game, having a 250-pound back like LeGarrette Blount, spelling a 225-pound back like Jay Ajayi works out really well, especially when you get into late season and playoff time. And it looks like that's going to be where the Eagles are headed, which is to the playoffs, maybe a little bit further. Not going to say anything. But the big question is who wins, because the Eagles obviously, if Ajayi plays well, clearly get a steal, because back when Ajayi was coming out in the 2014 class, that sound right? The class that had Todd Gurley and Melvin Gordon, I had Jay Ajayi as my number 26 overall player. He went in the 5th round due to concerns over his knee and whether or not that would hold up. Now, obviously, it actually has held up pretty well. He hasn't really missed a lot of time. The concern was how long does Ajayi have in the NFL, and that still remains to be seen. I understand why the Dolphins weren't looking for much. Maybe they know more than the rest of the league does. But at face value, this looks like an easy steal for the Eagles. It's gonna, show itself in due time. I wouldn't expect Ajayi to play much this weekend, especially considering the Eagles have a bye directly after Denver. So I would say probably the second half of the season, going towards playoff time, that's when we start seeing more of Jay Ajayi. This actually does very little to LeGarrette Blount, I would say. But as far as Corey Clement and Wendell Smallwood, they're basically meaningless right now. But yeah, I mean, definitely a weird way to start the day. The NFL trade deadline is never this interesting, especially with Garoppolo being traded, Marcel Darius being traded, uh, Dwayne Brown being traded. This is probably the most trades I've seen in a trade deadline in the NFL ever. So that's going to do it for today. Obviously, guys, I wasn't prepared to do this video. Fucking exam got in the way, and then I came home and went, holy shit, I should probably talk about this. So, as always, guys, see you next time. Like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend another time. See ya.